105 wants to 1025. Yep. 5314. JJ 1821 1028.
And we're back. Welcome everyone to the exceL podcast, coming to you from the Omen House on the outskirts of London. Hopefully we're sounding clearer than ever, or worse than ever if none of the mics are working. I'm John, your host. I'm joined by Managing Director of exceL Esports, Kieran Holmes-Darby.
Hello.
Alongside Alex, Fern Doggy Dog, and President Business himself.
Do I not get the trucking title
Ryan.
now? Is this...
No, yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
See, that's another plug for the behind the scenes that's coming out soon. Okay, so we've got, behind the screens. What people will be lost if I say behind the scenes. They'll be clicking around the YouTube page for ages.
Don't know what's happening.
Anyway, we've got a lot of exceL news to get to. So what we're going to do is start with ESL, last week of the regular split. What's your overall thoughts on the whole split as well as that last game versus Misfits?
Go on, you can start.
The last game versus Misfits wasn't great. I think there was, although we were trying to prepare for it as if it was just as important as any other game, it's always hard to get fully up for a game that actually the result doesn't mean anything, even if you want to. Because it's always in the back of your mind that actually, does it really matter if we lose this? When for me, the level we're at is the most important thing. Again, wasn't as good as what I'd hoped. It wasn't as good as the level we should against M&M in the week before or Raise Your Governors. But a lot of that I think is again mental. Overall, the split I think has been a bit up and down for us as we kind of expected, especially nearer the start. We've shown that we can be as good as anyone, and then also on our bad days be as bad as anyone, which is the key right now to try and find that consistency.
So how do we feel then going into playoffs?
Like I said, I think, like Fern said, I think on our day we can beat anyone. Our massive problem at the minute is consistency, and there also seems to be like a bit of a issue when we face like bigger teams. Like we know we can beat these bigger teams because we've taken them to close games. We've shown in scrims the teams that we play are like of a phenomenal level, and we're playing really well there. But as soon as it comes down to it, there's not the final edge that we need. Yeah. And it's so hard to practice that because you can't, as much as you try and simulate it, you can't actually really simulate game day, all the emotions that are running through your head, the split-second decisions that you have to make. So I think a best of three going into playoffs is a lot better because you can reanalyze everything after the games. I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I'd say that we're definitely getting there for sure. Yeah, I think we're confident, but we're not cocky.
Everyone's beatable, but at the moment we just don't know which version of us is going to turn up.
Exactly, that's the problem.
And that we need to try and fix in the lead up to playoffs, but that's kind of our key objective for the week, try and find a bit more consistency in what we do. Yeah.
Okay, so just some practicalities then. How is it working in terms of when we're playing? We don't know who we're playing against currently, but
we find out tonight.
Tonight there's a playoff a tiebreaker between Enclave and Diabolus for second and third place.
And we play loser.
And we play whoever finishes third place in that group B, which we don't know. They went 1-1. They went 1-for-1 in the regular.
If you forced me at knife point to come up with an answer, I'd probably say Diabolus have the edge with Caedrel.
Yeah. It's a different team than what faced Enclave when they faced in the regular split. Sure. We'll see. But either one, I think.
I mean, either one is going to be a challenge, and we're not taking anything lightly anymore. Because I think
the games are when and where in terms of how we can watch them.
I believe they're cast on ESL's channel. Yeah, it is.
I realised after I said that.
There's like three different.
Normally, the official stream on a Sunday is on ESL_long on Twitch TV.
They're at midday on Sunday.
That starts lunchtime on Sunday, right? Yeah. So that's what we'll be playing, and there'll be two best of threes. The winners of that go to LAN, right? The winner of those two best of threes. And Wind and Rain are already through. They finish first in the groups. They get that automatic.
If we qualify, we're against Wind and Rain in the semis at LAN, and then obviously the other winners will be against Misfits, and then the winners of those two games meet in the final.
And then playoffs is. Do you know the date for the LAN playoffs then?
LAN is the 7th and 8th of April, I
So
think.
yeah, a fortnight from this weekend, right? So there's this weekend, which is playoffs. Then there's Insomnia in the middle, and then it's the weekend.
So it's
after
a
that.
big 3 weeks, really.
The first weekend that's a fully April weekend, because the other one's like 29th first or something.
Okay, and then the other thing that's sort of league-related, well, is league-related news, is you guys, the three of you? Yes. 4 of you? 3 of you?
No, 3 of us.
3 of you are going to talk with Riot tomorrow. So do you want to, Kieran, give us a brief, what's that roughly about, where's it going to be, etc.?
So I think I might have even mentioned on the previous podcast or whatever, but I've got a really good relationship with the guys at Riot in the UK here, and one of our kind of our needed things in an esport before we get into it is that kind of developer backing and that developer want to engage with the organizations in the sector, and something that Riot have been generally good at around the world, and now they're starting to be good at in the UK, is the engagement with organizations and teams and the want to actually professionalize the leagues and professionalize the esport, and this is our first kind of indication that that's what they're going to be doing in the UK. I mean, I say behind the scenes, I've had a few conversations, which has given me that kind of, what's the word? Security or optimism. No, the security that that's going to happen. And now this is kind of the first showing for them where they've gone, no, we're going to do something here. So what they're doing is they're inviting all the UK organisations down to the Red Bull Gaming Sphere, which looks really cool, which just opened. And they're going to have a kind of workshop with us. I don't exactly know what that means.
Yeah, we haven't got too many inside actual details on the day and agenda or anything, but it's a chance for all the teams to have a face. It's a chance for the teams to have a face-to-face with Riot themselves and actually clear up things from their side and our side. So
all the teams have got their own agendas to bring, right? We've got our own agenda that we want to bring, and hopefully by the end of it, everyone will have put their agendas across, and we'll have a clear outcome on what we all need to do to make this better.
Alternatively, everyone has different agendas. Riot has no idea what to do, and then the plug is pulled.
I'm sure that it will.
And they're
resolve.
going to be talking about how, the layout of the, regarding how it's organised, 2 groups, 1 group, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen. The only thing we know is that we have to go there. There are other teams that are going to be there, and it's a thing that Riot have organised. I know they've been wanting to organise it for a long time.
hopefully it clears some of the murky waters of the League of Legends future in the UK.
I mean,
more so than
the
anything.
main thing that we're going to be going into there is to see what is going to happen in summer. I think.
It's bound to be good news, though, right?
Teams need indications of what's going to happen in summer because we can't keep going blind into things. It's not good and people are scared to do it, and I think that's what holds back some of the development is that teams aren't willing to do it, not knowing anything.
I think it's only good news. It is only good things. It's the reason that we're heavily investing so much in this esport, because we know it's only going one way. But yeah, no, I'm very optimistic about the meeting tomorrow. I think it's going to clear up some issues that everyone's had. It's going to set the record straight for some of the more mystical things that are going on. You know, what's happening next split, what's happening this summer with the European competition, all of that stuff hopefully will be cleared up, and we'll be able to talk about it on the next podcast a bit more.
I do think that this is where the UK has been lacking behind other national leagues as well, other regions. The lack of engagement between the actual league and the teams themselves, and then but from both sides, back and forward, not kind of paying any kind of negatives towards ESL, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't had that same link as other national leagues. I spent a good year in Spain, and LVP want to constantly be kind of on top of everything and be hearing feedback from the clubs, and then just constantly trying to fix all the little issues between them, rather than having 2 separate entities, teams and league, and it just being 2 separate points, actually making it kind of more one where they can fix any of the issues that arise, I think is only beneficial to everyone.
It's all stakeholders working towards the same goal. Developers, leagues, teams, even players. All working towards the same thing. Everyone wants the same things. They want stability, they want clear revenue streams, and when I say stability, I also mean in terms of, contracts, limited companies, things that the people need to actually, professionalize this esport.
Doing it properly,
Doing it properly, and it requires not just one stakeholder to be like, we're going to do it. It requires them all to do it together. So we think we're already doing that, right? As an esports team stakeholder, we're already doing that. Are all teams doing that? No. Are the league even asking us to do that? No. They should be. They should be asking. I mean, we're putting ourselves in a position that when the league inevitably does ask that of us, we're already going to be there. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So next thing then, we'll probably have more on that next week. So that's the first thing to mention. The next thing we're going to talk about is the second week of Gfinity. So Alex, you maybe want to go for that. Better than the first?
Much improved.
I thought the way you started that, it was going to be worse.
Much improved. So yeah, I guess first thing to quickly go over is unfortunately Street Fighter team had a bye week, which is pretty rough after getting blown out last week and then not being able to play this week to sort of...
All good to give them time to...
it depends, but you're hoping that they'll come back into it strong next week. We had the FIFA guys play. Pater netted a win, which is really, really solid. 2-0? 2-0, solid. And then Kev unfortunately lost, I think, 3-0 or something in his game, where it just sort of slipped away from him, really. He didn't have as much possession as he probably wanted, and it sort of game slipped away. That's how it is, really.
We'll take the 1-1.
But we'll take the 1-1. We'll take it. Improved over last week with 2 losses. Then on the Rocket League side, we had a big performance from the guys, which netted them a win against Hashtag, which is really good.
Really strong performance.
Yeah, it was really good from them because it was convincing, and Hashtag are sort of seen as maybe one of the weaker teams in the Elite Series on the Rocket League side of
But you've
things.
still got to do everything right.
But you've got to do the business, and they turned up sort of and won convincingly, which is really important.
Okay, so beyond Gfinity then, the Rocket League guys competed in RLCS as well. Do you want to go over that?
So they had
Saw some of that game here as well.
Yeah, they had two games of the RLCS. They played PSG first, who are sort of arguably top 2 in the world.
They were the best team last split in Europe until the finals, and then I think they came fourth.
Second best team in the world, you say?
Yeah.
And also second best team in the match against. Oh.
So what does that make us? First best team in that.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
PSG were incredibly strong last split. They almost did an unbeaten perfect season in the EU RLCS last season. I think they lost like 1 game overall, and then they went into finals, and unfortunately I think they ended up 4th in the world, I think. But they were seen as the best team in Europe last split. So tough first game.
Yeah, tough first game, but we won, and we won actually fairly convincingly at 3-1, which is really, really good for the confidence of the guys, because they did have a couple like shaky games coming into RLCS season. We then second up had Flipside, who are probably, we don't say considerably weaker, but are definitely a weaker opponent than PSG, and unfortunately, I don't know, things didn't quite mesh as they probably should have. It was like we looked like the stronger team, but then just how Rocket League is.
They're still sort of seeded higher than us though coming into it, right? It's only because we had such a good showing against PSG that.
Yeah, I think we said in a recent podcast that we are considered one of the weaker teams in the RLCS, and we knew that going into split. So to get a win over PSG first up is great. Flipside was always going to be a tough game. Take the PSG thing out of it, it was always going to be a tough game. But I still think we looked like the stronger side, even though we lost 3-1. If you look at the actual games themselves, it was just little things that were just not quite right. But in terms of our micro play rather than macro, can you use that in Rocket League? Micro was good, but
The other way around.
macro was good.
Some
little micro mistakes, exactly.
I mean, the way things, in the end of the day, it's football, and we all know what football's like, and you can have 80% possession if they score a fluky goal, that's it. And I feel like they felt a little bit like that.
So maybe it's worth, while we're talking about Rocket League, to just go over how does the RLCS work then? Because this is a big one. Like if you haven't watched Rocket League, definitely would recommend it, even if you don't play. Because like you said, it's like football, but just like
With rocket
power cars that fly around, and it's very exciting to watch.
I think a note on that is 85,000 people while we were playing PSG, concurrent.
Nice.
So
Stream,
the figures are massive with Rocket League. It's got such good viewership.
Easy to watch, isn't it?
So easy to watch.
So easy to get
That's
into.
what I mean. So for the people who haven't maybe watched Rocket League, first thing I'd recommend watching some Rocket League. How can they watch? We've already talked about how they watch Gfinity. How do they watch?
So games are on Sunday nights, and everybody basically, I think there's 8 teams in the league in EU. There's also an NA one, but just talking about EU, there's 8 teams in the league, and they play 2 matches each Sunday night, and the matches are best of 5. So it means games last like 40 minutes probably with downtime in between them.
And where can you watch the stream?
And that's on twitch.tv/Rocket League.
Can I just say, production quality is insane as well. I made a comment on Twitter, really like the way they do it, it's very American. It's very like NFL style, very over the top, but it's amazing. Like it is perfect for that game.
That's what you want from your rocket-powered car.
Cool, exactly. You want Americans going over the top. You want the breakdown analysis. The production value looks amazing.
Yeah.
No, really, really cool stream. And also, just wanted to say, I don't think we've spoken on the podcast about Gfinity and Facebook deal.
We haven't, no.
So that's something you said we've already spoke about where to watch Gfinity. We were under the impression that Gfinity was going to be on Twitch until the first week where we were told we've done a strategic partnership with Facebook. And yeah, so I think maybe we should talk about like that in terms of a strategic partnership. My initial view is for sustainability, it's awesome. Because clearly Facebook are really getting behind it. Yeah. So for the sustainability of the league, it's amazing.
And on top of that, Facebook are generally getting behind just all of esports in a big way. They brought out all the IEM streaming rights for Counter-Strike and Dota, like exclusivity. So it's clearly something that they're interested in, not just as like a short-term money grab, but something sort of longer term.
And let's just take ourselves out of the esports bubble just for 1 minute and just think like from a market share point of view, someone's got to compete with Twitch at some point, right? Yeah. Twitch can't hold Amazon now can't hold the market share in streaming and gaming forever. It needs YouTube and Facebook to break in a big way. YouTube are trying and they're doing well. We already spoke about earlier off camera about how we prefer to watch League of Legends now on YouTube because of the different features. Facebook doesn't necessarily have any better features, and there are some people saying, "Oh, I don't want to watch."
Reacting to it.
Yeah, there's been some outcry from the Rocket League community, isn't there, about them streaming on Facebook now, mainly because of the concurrent numbers are less. But I think Gfinity and rightly so have been saying, okay, the concurrent numbers are less when it's live, but much more people are watching it because they're watching the videos back, and because they're browsing past it and seeing it.
It's got to be much higher, hasn't it?
It's much more a bigger pool of people. Exactly.
Much wider viewership. Like you share a video on Facebook, and everyone's already used that platform so much. It's going to reach so many more people because it's such a bigger platform. Like your granny might watch it if you share it on your own Facebook. You know. On
top of that, the Elite Series is, in my opinion, the best esports platform to be moving to Facebook because it's such new viewer-friendly esports. Like if you think about it, 2 of them are football-based, so anybody can watch them, sit down and enjoy them. So on Facebook, you can target your stream towards 18 to 34-year-old males, which is the large majority of our esports fan base, and actually bring new people into esports because it's a platform that they would be using. Whereas if you're not into esports, you're not going to be browsing Twitch. Or if you, not even that, just if you haven't even heard of esports, you're not going to be browsing Twitch.
Most people haven't even heard of Twitch.
Yeah, whereas Facebook is going to make that possible.
I had an argument with my dad about that actually. He said, most people haven't heard of Twitch. I was like, Dad, Amazon just bought that for $1 billion. I think a few people have heard about Twitch. Like, a few people have heard about.
That's our argument with Ninja, isn't it? That he obviously got however many subs he got within a week, like
90,000 on the night or something.
He's making over 500k.
And obviously, people were saying, "Oh, there's a glitch with prepaid cards, and the subs aren't realistic." But if you think about it, if you have however many players Fortnite has, 3.1 million concurrent. If they log in and they see, right, I've got free Twitch Prime loot, and it's a walkthrough of how to get Twitch Prime and how to log on to Twitch, if 1% of that do that, it makes sense why Ninja has got the numbers. So it kind of does make sense that these big games that are blowing up, they then advertise Twitch, and then Twitch then obviously blows up as well. So I think
it's getting there, but I do think I do think Facebook is obviously
it is more on game developers as well to make people aware that our game is being streamed on Twitch. Come watch it.
I think you're going to see a lot more competition in the streaming market, and I think it's only good. Like, look, I don't care whether I watch it on Facebook, Twitch. I'm going to put it full screen anyway. I'm going to.
And in terms of an organisation, if it means our organisation is more stable and there's backing behind it, and it's
So where then on Facebook do you go?
They've got different pages for each one.
/Gfinity SF5 if you're going for Street Fighter.
And that's just
SFV, sorry.
How does it work in terms of Facebook? Do they have, so that's the just standard Gfinity page, and then that's then streamed, or like what?
They have separate pages for each of the different games. So it's like a different URL for each, so www.facebook.com, and then /Gfinity SFV is the Street Fighter stream, /Gfinity Rocket League is the Rocket League stream, and /Gfinity FIFA 18 is.
And it all
the
gets
FIFA
shared on the actual Gfinity page, so it's quite easy. It's quite easy to share. Like on Twitch, you've got the hosting feature, but on Facebook, you've got the share. So Unilad Gaming are sharing all of the games now as well, because obviously Unilad compete in the Elite Series. So it's good. It's. I think it's easier from that point of view.
Okay, cool. So the next thing to talk about is you guys are going to an event pretty soon. Do you want to?
I see your note says Kieran speaking thing.
Yeah, well, I was asking people for names and like things to write down and things to say, but I didn't manage to get everything. So what's your speaking thing that's coming up?
No, our good friends over at Esports Insider, who run under the SBC banner, who do a lot of sports events, conferences and stuff like that. They're doing a esports focused event at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea football team's ground. It's a conference on esports, but the focus is the new crossover with sports, and you're seeing all the sports teams investing in esports, and kind of what does that mean for esports? What does it mean for sports? That kind of crossover. And I've been invited to talk on a panel about esports team ownership in general, and whether it's a good investment for investors or football clubs or whoever it is. So I'm going to say yes, and exceL's the best choice. No, it will be a good discussion. I'm on the panel with the guy from Refresh. I've forgotten names. That's so bad already. Yeah. The guy from Refresh, who obviously own Astralis. Heroic.
Stuff to do.
Not North. North is Copenhagen, but what's the event they did? The big CS:GO event? Blast. They own Blast and all that sort of stuff. The head guy Nico from Vitality, and Ben, I think his name is. I forgot. Oh god, that's gonna be really bad if that's his name. From Code Red. Ben from Code Red, and then Mike Stubbs is.
So, I mean, you mocked my notes, but they're.
I really should. I don't have any notes. I really should make notes. I even added them all on LinkedIn and Twitter and all sorts. But anyway, so it'll be a good talk. We've got Alex coming along to film that and another talk, and you're producing like an event movie.
There'll be like Sam from ESI asked if they could do some like Q&As with people. So I can imagine that there'll be lots of like Sam's like they're doing interviews and stuff, which I'll be doing there as well, which will be good.
And that will all go up on YouTube.
Esports Insider's YouTube, I believe. I can imagine they'll probably do sort of what like we've seen Dom Sacco did with our interviews, where they'll get little snippets of the highlights, and those will go out on Twitter and Facebook and whatever, and the full talks, etc. will go out on YouTube.
I assume the actual event's streamed, but.
It will. Yeah, it must be somewhere, right?
Somewhere it will be streamed. I'm sure people
we'll be sharing it on Twitter
or something.
When
my big mug's up there talking about,
Everyone needs to tune in now.
Managing Director Kieran Holmes Darby is on.
Look what Kieran's doing. With exceL Esports alongside.
I think I've got a little MD under my name on the thing,
Okay, right. The last thing then to talk about, as we've mentioned, is after next week, the week after that, Insomnia is coming up. So do you guys, so the league team's going?
League team's definitely going.
That's our only team.
That's the only team that's going? Okay. So do you want to talk about how that's going to work? Where our seats are so people come flock?
I don't know where our seats are, but if you do see us, we'll be walking around in jerseys and whatnot.
Orange and black, follow the orange and black.
Come say hello, bug them, make them buy you drinks.
It's all the big BYC tournament, isn't it?
Yes, it's run by UK Masters now.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what they're planning on doing in terms of summer. From what I hear, they're going to run another league, but that's open for interpretation. They're running weekly cups at the moment that we're playing in. Obviously, we have a good relationship with Belong, so we want to help them in every way we can.
Support that.
So that's what we're doing, and as well as the UK Masters Open, which I think is going to be a really good test of where we are before LAN finals. Touchwood.
And the BYFC had gone a bit like stale, so to speak, in some ways. So it's nice to see like who's run it? Like UK Masters actually backing it and making it more of an event for people to want to play.
I feel like we after our last UK Masters performance as well. There's a little bit of
we need some redemption.
a little bit of redemption there.
That was helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be nice to get the boys out of the house and to a LAN event, right?
I feel like Insomnias are always great, no matter what happens. They're fantastic events.
I'm looking forward to it because it's the first one where I'm staying over on the Saturday and I'm not going to do any work on the Sunday. I'm going to have fun. I'm gonna network on the Saturday, get that all out the way, and then on Sunday we're gonna have fun.
When's the quiz? Is it Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
So I'm having fun
Saturday night.
I'll start my fun on Saturday.
No, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I love Insomnia. I've never been able to go and just enjoy it. I always drive in the morning, do a day, and drive back, which is less fun. But I love the event. Like, it's never been an esports event. It's always been a gaming event.
Yeah.
And the esports is kind of an add-on, and it still is to some extent, but it's nice that there's a bit more integration. There's the CWL.
It's growing so much as well. It's ridiculous. I mean, the first time I went, it was in Telford at the International Centre with like...
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it's always been at the NEC.
I think there might have been... I've been in 3 different places. It was at the Rico Arena as well. But then before that, it was at Telford International Centre, and there was like... I think they were bragging the first time I went that they were going to have 1,000 people or something like that. And it was like a big deal that they were going to get to 1,000.
I feel like the esports section is the BYOC section, and obviously you have kind of the show section, the exhibition halls.
I'd say Belong are working hard to change my perception that esports is just an add-on to Insomnia. The whole Belong brand is, yes, it's grassroots esports, but they're trying to feed their grassroots into this UK Masters idea, which is the pro level. And I think they're going to do some really good stuff with that, especially with this partnership they've just done with Sports Direct. I think that's going to
that looks really good.
That'll help things. I mean, it's just awesome seeing the Red Bull Arena, the Sports Direct getting involved. Like, there are big things happening now in the UK, which is really cool, because that's not always been the case.
No, absolutely.
So yeah, if you see us at Insomnia, then come say hello. It's all right, we'll all take pictures with you.
I'll have a Sharpie to sign autographs, no worries. Come on, you form a nice orderly queue, it's all good.
Anyone in any form of exceL apparel, I will personally buy a drink.
Oh,
there you go.
Does that include us?
No.
That's a bit unfair.
I just find a random guy, stick one of you. Look, go get me a drink.
Just give me half of it.
Brilliant.
Okay, cool.
First.
Yeah, drinks from Kieran. Any last things you want to get to before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. We got anything coming up? Just Insomnia?
No, not a lot.
We've got so much coming up.
Literally, it's unreal.
But I am very excited for Insomnia, so see anyone there.
Okay, great. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Cool. You're right.
He's nuts.
There's actually nothing, you don't need to do that,
Alex is like...
He just told him, and he needs a clap every time you record him.
Okay, we just got mean ball split.